Welcome to today's explainer. We're diving straight into the fundamental differences between a rich mindset and a poor mindset, using some incredibly relatable stories from our source material. We so often fall into the trap of thinking that wealth is just about the numbers in a bank account, or inheriting a fortune, or honestly, just sheer luck. But what if the reality is radically different? The source material we're looking at today argues that being rich or being poor is actually driven by our daily behaviors and our underlying psychology. So let's jump right into this by looking at two school kids, Omar and Fadi. Both boys desperately want to know how to get rich, especially when they see classmates showing off the newest toys and phones. So they ask their dads for advice, and man, do they get different answers. The poor dad, and by that we mean poor in mindset, teaches that the love of money is the root of all evil. He views wealth with deep suspicion. But on the flip side, the rich dad teaches that the lack of money is the root of all evil. Right out of the gate, you've got two completely opposite worldviews shaping how these kids think about their futures. Which brings us to Section 1, Mindsets, Rich versus Poor. The big takeaway here is that wealth isn't just about what you earn, it's a behavior. It's the lens through which you view every single challenge. Look at the sheer contrast in the everyday advice these kids get. One dad is preparing his son to write the perfect CV, hoping he can land a secure job and slowly climb the corporate ladder. The other dad, he's preparing his son to write a business plan so he can eventually own that corporate ladder. And my favorite example is what happens when they want something expensive. The poor mindset just shuts the brain down by saying, I can't afford it. But the rich mindset treats it like a puzzle and asks, how can I afford it? One completely stops your thinking, and the other forces your brain to get creative and find solutions. And here's the kicker. The mechanics of building wealth are rarely taught in traditional schools. We actually absorb our financial education right at the dinner table. If we aren't incredibly conscious of the attitudes being passed down to us, we just end up repeating the financial habits of our parents without even realizing it. We essentially run the exact same race they did, no matter how much formal education we actually get.
Let's move into Section 2, the safe job trap.
To understand this trap, take the somewhat tragic story of Mr. Sayed from our source. He starts out young, full of energy, and dedicates his entire life to his company. But every ounce of his hard work really just translates into wealth for the company owner. As the years roll by and he grows old, his usefulness to the company starts to fade. Eventually, he's just seen as a liability waiting to be pushed into retirement so the company can pump in new blood. It's what the source provocatively calls the slavery of the high-paying job. Now, the source material is crystal clear here. Absolutely do not go and quit your day job tomorrow, but you do need to step out of your comfort zone. Relying entirely on a single employer for your financial security is actually incredibly dangerous. Think of a job as a short-term fix to a long-term problem. Your salary pays your rent and keeps the lights on, but it's your own business that will actually build your wealth. The smart play is to keep the security of your day job, but dedicate your evenings and weekends to your own venture. You only cut that corporate cord when your side business finally overtakes your salary. To actually build that venture, we need to master Section 3, assets versus liabilities. This right here is the absolute foundation of financial literacy. If you want to be rich, you have to focus on accumulating assets while minimizing liabilities. It sounds almost too simple, doesn't it? Yet it's where most people go completely off track. An asset is something that deposits cash into your pocket, whether you're actively working or fast asleep. A liability is something that consistently pulls cash out of your pocket. The source argues that the middle class struggles so much because they constantly buy liabilities, but mistakenly believe they're buying assets. When you actually break your finances down into categories, it becomes obvious where your money should be going. True assets are things like income-generating real estate, stocks, or gold, things that actually grow in value or pay you dividends. On the flip side, we have liabilities, massive mortgages for homes that don't generate any income, heavy car loans, and consumer debt. Building wealth means ruthlessly prioritizing that asset column and aggressively shrinking the liability column. Stop thinking a massive personal loan is just a normal part of life. It all boils down to which way the cash is flowing. Is it taking money out of your pocket or putting it in? People always debate whether a house is an asset. Well, our source cuts right through the noise. If you own a house and rent it out so it puts money in your pocket every single month, it's a fantastic asset. But if you're the tenant or even a homeowner drowning in maintenance and mortgage payments with zero income and cash flow, that exact same building acts as a liability. This brings us to Section 4, make money work for you. The wealthy don't just work for money. They figure out how to make their money do the heavy lifting. Take Ahmed the programmer, for example. He wants to be wealthy. The typical poor mindset would tell him to go get a second job in the evenings. But if you just double your income through manual labor, your expenses usually double right along with it. Instead, Ahmed works smart. He builds an accounting software program after his day job. He sells the first few copies himself, then uses that money to hire marketers. Pretty soon, he's sleeping soundly at night while his team is out there selling his software, constantly adding to his bank account. Because here is the hard truth. Unless you're a highly paid pro athlete or an A-list actor, relying strictly on a direct salary is not going to get you to financial freedom. Direct income is tied to your time, and since we only have 24 hours in a day, your earning potential has a hard ceiling. To achieve true wealth, you absolutely must decouple your time from your earnings. You need systems, investments, or products that generate revenue even when you aren't physically in the room.
Of course, building all of this takes guts, leading us to our fifth and final section, the courage to fail. Building passive income streams means stepping into the unknown, and yes, that's scary. But spending your entire life making only safe choices, that is actually the biggest financial danger of all. Playing it completely safe just guarantees you'll stay exactly where you are. The illusion of safety, like keeping all your cash in a zero-yield savings account, leaves you completely exposed to inflation and unexpected corporate layoffs. Avoiding all risk is, paradoxically, a massive risk in itself.
Raw intelligence won't make you rich. You need the courage to try, to fail, and to learn from it. The poor mindset desperately avoids risk and hides from the mere possibility of failure. The rich mindset, however, doesn't just blindly jump into danger. It learns to manage risk. Waiting for a flawless, 100% guaranteed golden opportunity just means you'll be waiting forever. You have to step into the arena, take a few hits, and use those failures to gain the experience you need to spot the real winners. Look, it is totally natural to be afraid of losing your hard-earned cash. But you can't deprive yourself of success just because you're scared to fail. This is such a profound observation from the source. Almost every single wealthy person has lost money on an investment at some point. It's literally part of the process. Yet there are so many people out there who have never lost a single dime investing simply because they let fear completely paralyze them. They never even tried. So, I want to leave you with one final provocative question to wrap up today's explainer. Take a really hard look at your daily habits, your cash flow, and how you approach challenges. Are you trapped in the cycle of trading your precious time for a paycheck? Or are you actively building systems and acquiring assets that work tirelessly on your behalf? It's a choice we all have to make. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.